Hey guys, welcome back to Read Instead. I'm Jake, glad to have you here today. Good morning to everyone. It's morning here in Massachusetts. I got my cup of coffee here. Welcome back to another edition of Instant Reaction here. This will be the second entry into that playlist that I have on my channel right now. The first being, I believe it was a gentleman in Moscow that I reviewed immediately after I finished it. As I explained in that video, I'll just explain one more time. I think it's interesting to review a book immediately after you finish it, where you have no time to sort of flesh it out. And, it's just books can settle with you in different ways as time goes on. I know I've experienced that. I don't know if you guys can relate to that at all. Books where I really enjoyed and had an entertaining time, and then sort of, a couple days after I had put it down, I had forgotten about it for good. And then other times when I've, closed the book after finishing it, and then 4, 5, 6 months later, I find myself thinking about it all the time. And it's interesting how books sort of take their place in your mind after you're done with them. So today, without further ado, let's talk about Gorky Park by Martin Cruz Smith. Okay, so first of all, I just want to share with you guys. It's interesting. I didn't do this consciously. I didn't realize till about halfway through this novel that I picked 2 books out in a row to read that were based in Russia and in Moscow, more specifically. So apparently, I have some sort of subconscious fascination right now at this season in my life. With Russia. And come to think of it, it is a pretty unique and interesting time in a specific place in our history, with the Soviet Union. And it seems as though you had people, there was certainly a divide, like probably in most communist countries, a divide where some citizens are, very gung-ho and supportive of the party, the government, and then you have others who, oppose it very much so and hate it. And you get that in this book. You have, the dichotomy between people who are, have that Russian Soviet pride and they're a party member and they want to continue to have good standing in the party. And then you have others like the main character in this book, a detective by the name of Arkady. He's the opposite of that. So anyway, let's just get right into the premise of Gorky Park. Okay, so first of all, Gorky Park, the title, right? What is Gorky Park? It's a park very close to the Kremlin in downtown Moscow. Right in the first couple pages of the book, you'll get a nice little map showing you the city of Moscow, and which is always helpful because most of this story takes place in and around the city, and there's a lot of sort of moving around and traveling throughout the city. And the novel opens up with a murder scene in Gorky Park. 3 bodies dead and preserved because of, this is like in the dead of winter in Moscow. So, their bodies are going to be preserved. But 2 males, 1 female, their faces are removed and their fingertips are removed to prevent identification, obviously. There's local police also in these, in Moscow, and they're called militia. They're just simply called militia. And they don't work, or at least this novel portrays it this way, they don't work in tandem with the KGB in any way. They're separate entities. If the KGB just believes that a murder or a crime had nothing to do with infiltrating the government or gathering intelligence from the government or something like that, then they just leave it up to the local police, the militia, to solve these crimes. And that whole aspect, at first, I don't want to give too much away, but I'll just say there is a sort of back and forth between whose jurisdiction that this crime falls into, okay? We have our main character, his name is Arkady, Arkady, short for Arkasha, I believe his real name is. And he is a senior investigator for the militia. And this was the guy I was telling you about. He has no, no interest in sort of being a good party member and climbing up the ladder of the, communist regime or anything like that, which some of his, colleagues have done, by the way. And they're like, why aren't you doing this too? And he's just, he thinks it's stupid or something. I don't know. Arcady, it's, this is a crime novel, and basically, long story short, without giving too much away, this novel is about Arcady trying to solve the crime, and as the story progresses, he just uncovers more and more corruption. That's basically the gist of this whole novel. If you're someone who's into crime novels and you like a lot of plot, there's a lot of plot that takes place in every chapter of this novel, especially the first half, because there's a lot of sort of different fields of operation, if you will, that come into, that Arcady basically goes and visits, like the coroner, and then there's a guy, I don't even know what you call him. There's a guy that basically recreated, or he tried to recreate the face of one of the victims using plaster. He originally he got the after the body went to the morgue, they took the head off and brought the head to this guy of one of the females the female that was found murdered in the park, and the guy tried to recreate a face for her, and then there's many more, and so there's a lot of information. Some people are really into that. I enjoy it. It's not like I needed a ton of like CSI crime sort of stuff in my detective novels, but it is entertaining, and I can see how some people would find it more entertaining. So there's a lot of that in this. For me, this novel didn't jump out as something so much greater than I don't want to say the average, but the enjoyable crime novel that I would read from like a Michael Connelly or a Nelson DeMille or someone like that. Those are probably my two favorite crime novelists. Martin Cruz Smith is he's a better writer than those two guys. When I say better writer, I'm just talking like wordsmith wise, you know what I mean? The way he sort of, writes a setting and puts you in a different place and different time. He's very talented that way. I would say the one thing that sort of held me back from, after I put this book down, I wasn't running back to sort of pick it up and, having that kind of reaction to it, was the main character, Arcady, for me. He was flawed, which I usually appreciate, flawed, protagonists and lead characters, but for some reason the flaws that he had didn't attract me to him in any way. He atypical of your usual detective or cop in a crime novel. He's like not tough. It seems like every tussle that he gets into in this book, he loses. He says multiple times, that he's like a terrible shot with a gun. Another detective comes into the novel and sort of becomes a pretty important character to the plot, and he's just way better than Arcady, and Arcady like almost admits it. So I don't know. That was sort of different than most of your crime novels. Arcady, the lead investigator. He's not like this Superman hero kind of figure, which I guess maybe is a good thing. I don't know, but for some reason I just didn't find myself I didn't find him hugely likable, and I didn't. That was one of the reasons I wasn't running back to finish this book. I thought the plot was good. I thought the story was good. But I can't. I wouldn't sit here and tell you that it's. I can think of two Michael Connelly novels and two Nelson DeMille novels right off the top of my head that I probably enjoyed more than Gorky Park here. But That's just my opinion. Doesn't have to be your opinion. I would, if anything that I talked about seems like interesting to you guys, I would encourage you to pick it up. That's my instant reaction to Gorky Park. I already have my next novel picked out, what I'm gonna read. And I just want to encourage you guys. I haven't really said this yet in any of my videos. Of course, the comments section below this post is an opportunity to maybe you've read Gorky Park too, and you want to tell us what you thought, or maybe just share what you're reading, what you plan to read in the weeks ahead. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you again soon. Bye.